So in B2C, you don't just build the product, right? You don't just save someone else's money. You become a part of someone else's life, and for that matter, a lot of someone else's lives. So this is something that we all always need to keep in our mind, that it's an opportunity and also a responsibility that we become a good part of someone else's life. That's how we become the extraordinary.
All right, Barak, I want to just get right into it. I have one burning question for my preparation for this, and I want to just give some context first for listeners. So Barak here is co-founder and CMO of Coddy. It's an online platform for learning how to code that's reached almost 2 million users. And related to my question, they managed 1 million in ARR in just 1 year. And I'm very curious, like, what were the hacks, what were the cheat codes you figured out to get to 1 million ARR in 1 year? Because that is not a common thing. And I'm curious, like, how you grew. Like, where did you find those first users, and how did you just scale it that quickly to 1 million in 1 year?
All right. So the first secret is that it was actually a bit longer than 1 year, to be completely honest with you. It was 1 year after we first raised, but we worked on Coddy a little bit as students, and it wasn't really serious yet, but we did some work before we had some actual budget. But yeah, 1 year after we raised, we reached $1 million in annual recurring revenue. And well, I was in charge of that growth. And I can tell you that it comes with hard work and luck. It's not like you can do something specific which will always work. And it's not my first company, so let me tell you, it's hard.
So before you raised, what was the status? Like, did you already have revenue, or were you pre-revenue at that point? Like, where were you
did
at?
have some revenue, but it was like 5 figures. You know what I mean? It was less than 100,000 in ARR, but we had like experience with the market. You know what I mean? It helps. So, well, the things we did was mainly influencer marketing, Facebook ads, Google ads, and like a few small partnerships, but mainly that. And I would say that at the very beginning, only influencer marketing worked.
Okay.
Which is kind of weird, I think. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so influencer marketing, at least from what I've seen these days, is real tricky because it's easy to like get a bunch of influencers to try to make content about your thing, but if they don't have the right hook, if it's not compelling enough, then the content just kind of goes out and dies and does nothing. But then, of course, when you find the right hook and you get enough influencers to make a video using that hook, they can pop and it can be super, it can be super effective. So for you guys, sounds like that was the first channel that worked and scaled. First of all, did you hire someone in-house to make content for you guys, or did you only work with external influencers? When you worked with the external ones, did you use an agency, or did you have someone in-house that would like contract with all of them individually? How did you guys do that logistically?
Yeah, so I will touch a few points of what you just asked. Well, first of all, at first I did it all myself, and there's a few challenges you mentioned, but you didn't mention one important challenge, that people watch a video on TikTok or Instagram, and they hear about Coddy, but they not necessarily click on a link in a video. They just Google Coddy, and then we lose tracking, and it's hard to monitor where the users are coming from. You know what I mean? It's kind of, when you can't attribute the customers to the influencer who brought them, it gets kind of tricky, because the big money not comes from many influencers. You work with 10 influencers, 9 of them was complete waste of money, and only one of them covers the cost for all of the other influencers.
The others,
right?
yep.
So, well, the first thing I did when I started this whole influencer marketing experiment, and this was how I looked at it, as an experiment, like I experimented with many other things. I actually developed an algorithm which I call CoolScript. It's called CoolScript 2 because it's a script and it does something pretty cool. You give it a few parameters on an influencer channel, and it estimates how much money you're going to get back from an ad. And this thing gave me so much leverage in the negotiations that I can estimate how much revenue I'm going to see back from an influencer. And this opened up many doors, and it also closed many doors with influencers who are not worth it. And this is very important too. So there was this thing, CoolScript 2, and we used it a lot, especially at the beginning.
How did you make sure
Yeah.
that it actually worked? Like, I imagine you write this script, I don't know what went into it, if it was, you're probably taking into account the maybe views and engagement and stuff on their videos, but like, did you then,
Yeah, a lot of things.
compare against their actual behavior when you did hire them?
Yeah, I did it after I've worked with like, I think 20 influencers, and it worked really bad. Okay. So I did a few iterations and I improved it in small steps until it became CoolScript 2, which is like the second full version of the algorithm, which works really, really well. But it sucked at the beginning, but slowly it became something useful. And the way I tested it is that I used the previous metrics that we had with past influencers that we worked with, and I compared it with the attributed users that we know of that came from them. And I compared how much money CoolScript 2 would estimate we will see and how much money we actually saw from the ads.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I verified that it works.
Were there any big like learnings that you got from that? Like maybe, for example, that the overall number of subscribers or something doesn't matter, or the number of views even is less important than the amount of engagement? Like, were there any little things that you realized, like, we were looking at influencers one way, we should have been looking at it a different way?
Yeah, there are a lot of things I've learned about influencer marketing. First of all, if the channel is too small, it often wouldn't be worth it because it's too much hassle to work with them, and even if you will see the investment back, it wouldn't be
Worth the time?
too much. Yeah. But if the channel is too big, oftentimes they go over their heads and they think they deserve so much more money that it just wouldn't be worth it. So I guess for every company, there's like the sweet spot about the size of each channel that is worth to work with. That's the first thing I understood. But it's not only that. Number of followers is not that important. But the average number of views is very important. There is some correlation between the two, but it's not like 100%.
Are you mainly referring to YouTube here, or TikTok, or in general?
In general,
In general.
it's like we work mostly on Instagram Reels,
Instagram is okay.
and TikToks and YouTube Shorts. But recently, in the past few months, we started experimenting more and more with long form videos on YouTube, and it works really, really well for us. It's just really hard for us to estimate how much money we're going to see back. CoolScript 2 works only for short form videos.
Need a V3.
And you know, YouTube is also like marketing people call it evergreen. It's like when you do an ad on YouTube, it's like an asset that stays there for years, gathering more views, more customers. So it's like
Yeah,
a longer term investment, but it's
that's
still
for sure. YouTube
awesome.
is almost like SEO in that way. It's like you put out content and then it'll just rank and it'll just get views and traffic over time. I saw this in my first business, Campfire, which is a writing software. We started doing YouTube videos like crazy back in like 2019, 2020, 2021, and we still get a huge percentage of our new users coming from these YouTubers that we haven't even sponsored in like 3 years. So it's just like really evergreen stuff.
That's so awesome. And you know, it also makes me very optimistic.
Yeah.
The deals that you do with the influencers, is it all like cash up front, or are you doing CPMs or things like that?
We do it all, but I would say something like 90% of our deals are just cash. Usually not upfront though. Usually we pay only after they publish the video. Not that it matters that much, but it's like, I don't know, helps them be on schedule.
Sure. Yeah. Is it
Yeah.
just, you find that's easier? Have you done many CPMs, or do you find that influencers don't really want to do CPMs because they're not that confident?
It's mainly the influencer's preference. I guess that they just don't trust brands that much, so they just prefer to get a fixed amount. And for us, it's not, I mean, I don't think it costs more to do fixed payments, you know, even less. It's also easier because I don't need to monitor anything and
Yeah, it just
True.
depends because sometimes the video fails, right? Sometimes the video
yeah,
doesn't do well, and then you're on the hook
yeah.
anyways.
So sometimes it's a combination of like a fixed payment and also performance-based compensation. This reminds me of something really important that I wanted to talk about earlier about the attribution problem. So we have a system which we use to attribute each user to the funnel they came from. So when you register to Coddy, I mentioned that a lot of our users don't click a link. So oftentimes they don't have like a UTM or hyperparameters, nothing saved in their cookies. So if they don't have, when they register during the onboarding call, I ask them, how did you hear about us? And then they click on Instagram, and then I say, okay, which channel on Instagram? So that helps. So there's the UTMs, there's the poll, and also sometimes we have coupon codes. So when they go to checkout on Stripe, they use coupon codes, and that's another way which we use to attribute users to where they came from. So we use all of those. I call it an attribution graph that we use to like know every user where they came from. It's a big challenge, you know.
Yeah.
And then when people don't answer the onboarding question, or they pick other or something, I assume that whole cohort of users, when you're doing estimates and stuff, you'll just kind of proportionally spread them across like all the other channels, basically, and then use that and hope for the best, more or less, because like it's never perfect, right?
You're pretty sharp, Jason.
I set up this exact same system or very similar at my first business, so I have some idea of like generally how it works, and I know that you can try really hard to get it right, and at the end of the day there's still probably like what 20-30% of users that you're just like probably we'll just distribute them proportionally across all the
Yeah,
other channels.
exactly. And this is a problem that all of the B2C guys face. It's like really hard. And another thing that I'm not sure we mentioned, but Coddy is a web app. We don't even have a mobile app yet. I mean, we just published it like a week ago for pre-registration, but so far it was only web app, so we can't use Apps Flyer or anything like that. So attribution is even harder. On mobile app, it's like it's still hard, but it's easier. But on web app for SaaS B2C companies, it's super hard.
Hmm.
Attribution.
Yeah. Let's give some context more on the platform. So you mentioned how you were working on it kind of in university, right? And then you raised, and then at that point, from when you raised to 1 year after that, you grew from under 100K in revenue to $1 million plus. So what's the revenue model? Like people come in the door, it's a platform to learn how to code, but are they paying a subscription for this? And what do they get for that? Just explain, I guess, in general terms, how the platform works.
Yeah, so in Coddy, our mission is to turn code learning into a daily hobby. That's first of all. And Coddy is completely free for everyone all over the world, but there is a limitation over the daily usage. So we have this thing called the energy system. Many mobile games use this. So you have like 5 energy per day, and it recharges over time. You get like 1 energy every 5 hours or something like that. And when you run out of energy, you can't use the platform anymore until you have more.
Hmm.
So most of our users don't pay us anything, but a small percentage of them subscribe. And there are a few plans. I wouldn't bore you with the details, but subscription based. So a small percentage of our users subscribe. They pay us each month, and they cover the acquisition cost for all the rest of the users. This is like it's an interesting model in which the rich users cover the education cost for everyone else. It's kind of nice in that way.
So the subscription plans basically just give you more energy so you can get more usage out of the platform, or is there also a set of like advanced features or certain like parts of the platform that you can't get to unless
So
you're on a paid plan?
Yeah, so all of the content is open for you, but if you want to use the platform for more than 15 minutes a day,
Okay.
you would want to subscribe. But it's not only that. We also have features like an AI assistant that you can, whenever you struggle to understand what went wrong with your solution attempt, you click Ask AI and it helps you understand what you did wrong and like how to approach it differently, kind of like a private tutor. So when you're subscribed, the AI assistant is a little better. And there's like a whole list of things that are better when you're subscribed.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess it's mainly the energy that is unlimited when you're subscribed.
That's interesting. So I want to talk about the energy system in detail. The number one thing that stands out is if a free user that comes to Coddy for the first time and they create their account and they have a really nice like 15 minutes, but then you basically block them from doing anything else in the platform. How do you balance that desire for monetization with the desire for retention? Because that's a brand new user. You want them to still, to keep using the platform and keep getting hooked and like get, addicted to using your platform so you can eventually convert them. But if they're basically paywalled after 15 minutes, isn't there a risk that it's like, okay, I've been paywalled, so I'm just going to leave now, and then maybe tomorrow you're not able to bring them back to the platform? Like, how do you think about that and balance those two things?
Yeah, so this was a kind of a complex problem that you mentioned. It is a problem. It's kind of hard, and a lot of the people that come and just use the product for 15 minutes get frustrated that it's not completely free. It is completely free, but with a limited
Volume
amount
of
of
usage or
usage
whatever.
every
Yeah,
day
yeah.
unless you pay. But we do have to make money somehow.
Of
So
course, yeah.
many of them gets frustrated and then they never come back. But we bring some of them back with email marketing, with retargeting on Facebook ads, Google ads, places like that. And when we'll have the mobile app, we'll also use that like notification and stuff like that.
Yep, definitely.
But it is hard. It's a painful area.
Yeah, because it's like conflicting. If you had like a retention team and a monetization team, like they would probably be at each other's throats because they're trying to do like opposite things almost.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one as well because Duolingo recently switched to this. I don't know if maybe they've been inspired by you guys. I don't know, but they
The
recently
energy
switched.
system.
Yeah, they introduced their own energy system. I think this is one of the things that they struggle with as well. And I think the way that they've solved it is by allowing people to earn more energy by using the platform. So, like, if you complete a lesson within a certain number of time or better than more people, you unlock some like one extra energy or something that you can then use for like the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, we also do similar stuff. And I remember I saw that Duolingo are switching to the energy system. By the way, for some reason, when I use Duolingo, I still have hearts, like the
Right.
heart system. And we also used the heart system in Coddy until a few months
Wow.
ago. And then we did A/B testing and noticed that the energy system is slightly better. And we were wondering when Duolingo are going to switch as well.
To realize it, yeah.
And here they did. So we also have like our own currency in Coddy. So you buy things with like gems that you earn when you use the platform rather than things you buy with real dollars.
Mm.
And you can buy energy with it as well. So I guess it does help to a certain degree, but it's not very significant, to be honest. We
Did
have
you ever
a lot of room to improve in this area.
did you ever consider or even try like A/B testing a system where maybe someone gets like when they first create their account, they get an initial bucket of energy that's bigger than whatever the normal like daily amount is. So like on their first session or maybe even their first week, it's almost kind of like a free trial where they have way more energy and they can use things more often. But then at the end of that period, once you've really had the chance to like get them hooked, is when they go to the normal like amount.
Yeah, so the way it works, and this is how it works with Duolingo as well. When you open a new account and you start using the product, it doesn't show you that your energy has a lot of more,
Mm.
but when it gets empty, you suddenly get a present, you suddenly get a chest, you open the chest and
I
you get more
see.
energy, things like that. So I think Duolingo are doing it at least to some of their users. I guess they're experimenting with it. this is something that we are experimenting with as well. It's really smart, but I think a problem that we have, we're not that big. We have like, I don't know, 2 million registered users. It sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. So doing A/B testing with every new feature that you want to add or
It's
change,
tough.
it's yeah, it's kind of hard.
Mm.
I mean, the results gotta be very significant to
Yeah.
make it worthwhile.
How are you actually running these tests? Are you using some kind of feature flagging system or like a post hog or something like that to run them?
Yeah, we do it all in-house. I mean, I guess you know how these things work whenever someone registers, there's like a random key that is attributed to them, and then there's like an RNG system that puts them in certain groups for each feature.
And so you guys built that all in-house?
Yeah, actually we do most of the things in-house. I don't know if I suggest anyone to do that, but my co-founders are like super nerds, you know, they like building
They like building
everything.
stuff
It's like,
in-house, yeah. Well, so
yeah.
what's the team size now and what does it look like?
So we are three co-founders. It's me and two childhood friends. I'm the CMO, and we also have another four full-timers, three people in my department, marketing, one to do full-time influencer marketing, one to do growth marketing, performance and stuff like that, and one is our social media manager, and the fourth full-timer is a software engineer. So that's like all of the full-time employees at Coddy, a total of seven. But we also have a lot of people working for us part-time. We have someone in charge of the content. We have someone who is in charge of outreach for influencers and affiliators, and we have someone for customer success and someone for like executive assistants. So all of these are doing like 20 hours a week. It's like half.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah.
So
So I
not that
guess
many
it's like,
engineers then, which is surprising.
yeah, just one employee, but the three of us co-founders were all like
Right.
computer scientists. Not that I've written any code for this company, right? Just like small scripts and stuff like that, but you know, just having the background helps.
Yes, I mean, if you're a learn to code platform, it helps when everyone has a general understanding of
Yeah,
programming
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
I
Yeah.
guess it is, but also I think it's having a technical background helps with building companies not only in our sector.
Yeah, I agree. It's like a way of thinking almost. It's a way of like breaking down
Mm.
problems and going at like building things, architecting things. It must be fun
Yeah.
to be starting a company and scaling it with childhood friends. I didn't know that part of the story. That must be a
Yeah, yeah,
blast.
yeah. It's awesome. And you know, this is not our first company together. Our previous startup was also together and it failed horribly, right? But we felt that we have a very good synergy and we knew back then that we're going to continue to work together at least for a long time.
On the topic of retention still, before we pivot out of that,
Yeah.
you mentioned the emails as a way to kind of get back those users who hit the paywall early on in their kind of onboarding and their experience to get them to come back the next day. So we've built something very similar as far as like an email system that is personalized and can kind of try to bring users back in that way. And I'm curious how you went about it. Like you mentioned that kind of fell under marketing, their marketing emails. Are they super personalized? Do they take into account like any of the user activity that the user actually did in the platform? And like is that all like built in house or is it going through some system like a get response or a SendGrid or something like that? How do you guys set that up?
So we used to work with MailChimp. Now we work with the Brevo, I think it's called. Or
Yeah.
maybe they changed their name, or maybe Brevo is their new name. I don't remember. So yeah, the emails are personalized. It's based on their activity in Coddy, and this is something important. We noticed a change since we started working like that. When they have a lot of streak, you touch this point and you tell them, hey, don't lose your streak. You gotta keep on going, and you start being a little you play passive aggressive with them and things like that. Send them, if they didn't touch the platform for a few days, we send them like, we have our mascot. It's here on my shirt. I don't know if our listeners can see the video,
Yeah, I
but
can see it. Yeah.
it's like a cute, it's half ant, half robot. He's called Beat. So that's our mascot, kind of like Duolingo's owl. So whenever someone didn't use the product for a few days, we send them an email with like a painting of Beat where he's very, very old, you know, with like a white beard, and he's like kneeling, and he says, we didn't code together for so long, and things like that. We have a lot of um yeah, a lot of jokes like these along of these lines.
I think it works as well. Like we've set up similar emails in Trophy for our customers where they have mascots, and we're doing like,
Yeah.
oh, what did I do wrong? Like,
The mascots are great.
Mhm.
The mascots are great. That whole experience
They
of
are.
onboarding customers who have a mascot versus the ones that don't, it's made me realize that like if I found another B2C company at some point in the future, it needs to have a mascot because you can do so much with the facial expressions that just
Mhm.
add so much like life to the brand. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, every company, especially B2Cs, if your company don't have someone who is like the face of the company, like the CEO or the CMO or the COO, whatever, social media manager, someone's need to be the face of the company. And if you don't have anyone like that, you gotta have a mascot, which will be the face of the company, someone that people will feel like something towards, like empathy.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about the mobile app. So it sounds like that's the next big step for you guys, and it's in development now. Is that right? And you said maybe early access is where it's currently at.
So we have pre-registration. So
Pre-registration. Okay.
and I think we have it only in Google Play. I think the App Store requires like a little more time for all of the reviews and stuff. But yeah, we're finally doing it. We're talking about the mobile app for a long time now, and
Well, yeah. When
finally
did you start
happened.
working on it? Because I imagine if it's already under construction, then you probably designed it already some time ago, or you're putting the finishing touches on design. So, like, when did you start thinking about the mobile app? At what point in the journey was it?
So we started working on it, to be completely honest with you, I think it was something like a year ago. And we said, next quarter, this is the quarter we're going to publish the mobile app. And then a quarter after, we're saying the same thing. And we're postponing it every quarter, but now it actually happens. That's it. It's already in pre-registration. Everything is ready. It will be published soon.
Did things take longer than expected because you guys like just the mobile app was more complicated, or because you guys ended up having to spend more time than you expected, like maintaining the web and like taking care
Yeah,
of the
it's
website
like
of things?
we just had other things which were more important at the time. So we focused on like improving our metrics first. We kept all of the marketing funnels rolling. We recruited more employees. We raised a little bit more money. We did a lot of like strategic things, and I'm glad we did. We set our priority well. And now the mobile app will be published when we're fully ready for it, or at least almost ready for it. It's time.
Yeah. So the mobile app is the intention that in the mobile app you can do all the same things you can do on web with the smaller form factor, or the things you had to cut that's like some parts of the experience you really can only do on web, and like a much more simplified design and is what will be on mobile.
It's a great question. No, the answer is no. It wouldn't be exactly the same, and the reason is it's just not possible to code on your mobile phone in the same way you code with an actual keyboard. So the content will be a little different. The lessons will be split into content which we had until now that you actually code, and content that is more mobile friendly. So it's more like drag and drops and quizzes and stuff like that. You will be able to code on your phone. We have a special keyboard which is convenient to use with your thumbs.
Interesting.
but it will be optional. The user will choose whether they want to do it or not. And the way it works across platform is that every topic has has the desktop version and the mobile app counterpart, and they are like almost the same but with different experience.
So like the user goes through the same journey regardless of
Yeah.
whether, they can do one lesson they'll do on their phone and it'll be the mobile version of that lesson, or they can do, the next one they might do on the desktop and it'll be the desktop version. Is it like exactly like that, like the exact same learning journey?
So imagine you are at a club, all right, at the evening, and then you forgot that you need to still do your Cody daily challenge because
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to lose your streak. So you go to the toilet and you finish your streak, right? And then the day after, when you're home, you go to your computer and you don't need to do that lesson again because
Right.
you did it at the club yesterday, right? It's not like you actually written code, you just learned the topic in a
Through the
different
mobile
way.
thing. So you had to basically remake.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys store all of your lessons, or if that's like all hard coded, or if you guys generated some of those lessons like with AI somehow or whatever. But you probably you had to go back over every single lesson and make the mobile version of that, right? Did you have to like hire someone to do that, or you guys did that as the co-founders? How did you make all of the mobile versions?
So it's like that depends. Some things we do ourselves, some things we have our engineer do, and we also have that part-time employee that is doing only content. So, but it is hard. Even with AI, it's like you need to check everything.
Right, you still have to have someone review every
And
lesson. I mean,
even now that it's finished and I'm telling you it's ready to be published, I am 100% sure that there will be many problems that we can't see right now, and
right.
we will only find out about them after we look at the data, and we'll notice some lessons have a very low pass rate, or some topics cause people to have lower retention. It's like it'll always be like that. You just need to accept it,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Around how many lessons do you guys have? Like, did you guys have to make a mobile version for? Is it like thousands, tens of thousands? How many are there
I think it's in the thousands.
in the thousands?
Maybe it's in the tens of thousands, but
That's a lot.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
That's
Yeah,
a
it's a
lot of
lot.
lessons to review.
It's a lot. Most of them are very small. It's all bite-sized lessons. That's like
Yep.
kind of the whole deal, you know. But yeah, it's a lot. A lot of languages, a lot of sectors. It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are a lot of topics to cover in code learning.
How do you think that the app will change? Like, will that help you with the attribution problem that you mentioned before? Or will that change how you market a little bit differently or how you get users?
Hopefully it will help with the attribution because it will add a lot of noise. So
Mm,
who knows what it'll do. I guess it can improve retention because people will be able to take Cody wherever they go. I think it might also lower the customer acquisition cost because oftentimes it's just cheaper to get people to use your app rather than to use your website. We also, since we do influencer marketing, we already have a lot of people getting into Cody the first time from their mobile phone. So
right. Because
it
they're
will
already on their
truly
phone,
improve
right?
the experience for them. And we will also be able to market to more devices on Facebook ads and Google ads and all of the performance marketing we do. And since we'll have more audience to target, this is another thing that can lower our acquisition cost. So I'm very optimistic, but only time will tell
Yeah.
whether it's like very effective or just another product to take care of and to be stressed about.
Well, because it does kind of double the amount of work if you want to make some change to like how energy works or to how your system works or the streak or whatever. You do now have to build it in two places, right? So it does add a little bit of complexity in general to your guys, to building stuff. But if your
Yeah,
primary mechanism for acquiring users is through mobile, like on the TikTok, on Instagram Reels or whatever, and all those people are on the toilet when they're scrolling, and that's when they see your influencer marketing campaign, it's probably much easier to get them and retain them if they go to the App Store, find you, download, install your app and sign up there, than if they go to your website on mobile and they have to be on mobile web this whole time. So I imagine the pros will outweigh the cons, but like you said, I guess we'll see, right?
Yep, exactly.
How are you going about monetization on mobile? Because I know that can be a whole shit show with the Apple stuff that's gone on. They've gotten sued left, right, and center. Are people going to be able to subscribe in the app and then you got to pay your 30% or your 15% Apple tax? Or are you going to try to send people out to the web and like do that way to get them, through Stripe on the web and get them attributed that way? How are you going about it?
So at first we're going to, well, it's um, not everyone knows, but it's actually not 30% fee that you
15.
pay to. It's 15% for the first $1 million that you make. So I guess it will be at least a few months of grace period that we have, and we'll pay only 15% instead of 30. Um, so at first we're going to do it like that. I am sure that we will come up with ways to increase the ratio of app to web. So people will subscribe in web instead of in app. But we'll also want people to convert web to app because on app, I guess it'll
You
be a
can
better
retain them.
retention.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't know yet how exactly it will look like. We have a lot of plans, but from my experience, the way it works with Cody is that we move so fast that each week we
The plans
adapt.
get thrown out the window a bit. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. A few months ago, I hired someone who is like an expert on mobile app acquisitions. She does it for years. She do performance marketing for more than 15 years, and she's very talented. And I have a lot of faith in her that she will
Mm.
know what to do as soon as we publish the apps, you know. I put a lot of my tokens on her.
A big part of being a good founder is being able to find the right people and put them in the right places, right? Because you can't be the best at everything.
I think this is the thing that we are the best at, just finding the best people to do the job.
Well, that's a good thing to touch on then, because that's kind of the best thing to be the best at. So how do you go about that? How do you find people? Do you go on LinkedIn and poach them from existing companies? Do you write really good job descriptions?
My hands go far and wide. So I go to a lot of conferences. I have a lot of friends in the industry. So I hear about good talents all the time. We also have our first investor is very helpful in that sense, in all senses actually. He's just a very, very good investor.
Because he's like very well
So
connected, or
yeah, very. And he's like active all the time. He helps you all the time. He knows everything you do, but not in a bad way, in like the best way, in the bestest way, okay? So he helps with those things as well. But like everything else, you get good results when you put in the effort. So for every role that we look for someone to fill in a position, we take hundreds of CVs. We look at all of them. We have a long process to take people in. And after I pick the best one for the job, I make it worth for them to put a lot of effort. And I try to develop them. I kind of look at them as my children, but it's true. I really care about them. They're like my family. So yeah, I guess they care about Cody as much as I.
from each, you said around like 100 or whatever it is CVs that you look at. How many of those do you think you actually interview for any like given position?
So usually it starts with a short interview on the phone. So I guess out of it depends on which position, right? But in general, let's say I get um, 200 CVs. Of them, I call on the phone to like 80 people for like a quick screening, and then of them, I guess like 40, I hop into an interview on Google Meet, and then I send them like a home assignment to out of the 80, I would say like 20. gets the home assignment, and then I do another interview to about 10 of them. From the 10, from them, something like 5 goes to my office for a physical interview, and I pick one for the job. This is the statistic, more or less. Is it normal? I don't know how they do it in everywhere else.
Well, I'll tell you what. I am horrible with hiring. I've gotten lucky with many of my hires, thank goodness, but I am like
Thank
horrible
goodness.
with the actual process because I don't have the patience to call that many people, and that's my mistake.
Yeah,
Like just
yeah,
you
this
saying
is,
80
I know,
people
it's
calling,
hard.
I'm just like I could not.
It's hard. And
Yeah.
I'm also, I also have a lack of patience, but my partners help me with
Yeah.
like calling in the phones. Oh, and by the way, the most important thing is actually not to pick the right employees, is to pick the right co-founders.
Hmm.
So that's something you need to be
Important.
grateful for,
Yeah.
that you have
Yeah.
a good co-founder that you're friends with. Not
Yeah.
everyone have that. It's
Yeah,
important.
I think Paul Graham and YC and stuff, they say that the number one cause of startups failing is actually like co-founder breakups and those sort of things. So yeah, that's a big one. But as far as the hiring goes,
It is.
I think I'm glad that you outlined those numbers because I think that like someone listening to this who thinks that they kind of are like good at finding the right people, I think many of them will hear that and be like, "Oh, like I'm here and I could be here. I should be interviewing, because when I hired, for example, for an engineer 2 years ago, it was like I probably got on the phone with like 10, and then I gave a home assignment to like 4, and then I picked one, and it's just like the numbers were just so small and so amateurish compared to what they should be.
Yeah, it depends on what position. The more important the position is, the more attention you need to pay to who you pick. So if you hire someone very junior, I guess it wouldn't have that much impact. If you hire someone that, I don't know, isn't familiar with all of the libraries, or I don't know, don't have a lot of experience with the specific product that you're developing. But if you want someone that can be like team lead in a few months, you need someone who was already a team lead, and
Right.
you need to make sure that they did a good job when they did it. So you also need to talk with their previous boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a whole nother
It goes a
thing is
long
the
way.
reference checks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hiring is a huge thing.
pain
It
in the
requires so
ass.
much work. Yeah, huge pain in the ass. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's something that, like you said, it's maybe the most important thing.
I think it is.
How do you look at the tests that you give people? Are they like what's the kind of test? Is it like, do you know these things, or is it have you given them like a scenario that you're then looking for them to try and solve in their own unique way? Because I've played around with various different types of tests for engineers, but I guess for you, for marketing, it's slightly different. But how do you kind of see the tests that you
Yeah.
give out?
So that's a good question. So this is something that I used to have a lot of insecurity around, because with technical interviews, I did a lot of lead code back in the day. I was in my university team for competitive programming, so I'm really really good at technical interviews. That's how I got into Meta. I worked for Facebook just because they were really impressed with how I solved all of their challenges in the interviews. But to interview someone who's not on a fully technical position, it's different. The way I do it, I include an analytical part, which is like a lot of math and statistics and stuff like that. And I also include a more humane part. I try to understand how they work with other people, what their view is on certain things, how much experience they have with like social challenges in previous workplaces. And the thing I keep in mind the entire time that I plan how to pick people for the job is I try to understand what could be a possible scenario that they will face on the job that will be very important, that they will act the way I want them to. And this is what I try to really understand when I interview them. Oh, and another thing I ask everyone in all of the jobs, for the home assignment specifically, is I ask them where and how they used AI to solve the challenges. Because I want someone to work for me to use a lot of AI, and I also want them to be honest with me how they solve challenges. And it's okay to use AI. It's okay to use AI a lot, but I want it to be like something they are conscious about. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And
So
I mean, I think that might filter, because if you just have the question and someone just like takes the question and puts it in ChatGPT and then like formats the answer and changes some words and gives it back to you, that's like they might be able to do that. But then if you ask them afterwards, like, tell me how you used AI for this, now they'd have to make up some imaginary story about how they used AI for like part of it and they did their own thinking. It's like much harder, I think, than if you just asked the question and left it there, because they need to actually be able to explain.
yeah. So the home assignment that I give, it's not possible to just give it to AI and it will solve everything perfectly.
Yeah.
It's more complicated than that. But even if AI was used a lot, you need to understand how the AI solved it, right?
Exactly.
Because on the job, you wouldn't let AI to do everything and you will just act on it without thinking first. You need to
Right.
understand what's going on. So they need to be able to explain it to me if they understand what's going on. You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah.
All right. I think the last thing was just: is there any topics that you're grappling with now that you want to bounce some ideas around for?
I guess before we wrap things up, I just want to say something to our listeners. I guess the listeners are all into B2C building, right? This is why we're all here. So in B2C, you don't just build the product, right? You don't just save someone else's money. It doesn't work like that. You become a part of someone else's life, and for that matter, a lot of someone else's lives. So this is something that we all always need to keep in our mind, that it's an opportunity and also a responsibility that we become a good part of someone else's life. That's how we become the extraordinary. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. That's going straight to the cold open. That's perfect. That's a really good way of thinking about it, Seriously.
Thanks. I truly believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's true. I mean, like you said, B2B software, like what we're working on at Trophy now, it's the kind of thing that it plugs into an organization and it becomes like a kind of invisible thing that powers the organization, but it doesn't play a day-to-day role in people's lives in the same way that B2C does. And it's like B2C, you need to be thinking like psychologically, what is the psychology of the users? How am I making them feel with the design choices that I make? Like it's a whole different ballgame, I think. Yeah, I mean, that's what makes B2C fun to work on. That's why I like B2C, because it's,
Yeah, same.
yeah, you can think more in terms of people.
Yep. Exactly.
All right, I think we can wrap
Cool.
up then.
Thanks,
Thanks,
a lot, Barak.
Barak.
Thank you guys. I really enjoyed